Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mike. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Sergeant, how you doing? Thanks
Not
for joining
bad.
us.
Thank you.
We're gonna stop meeting like this, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
Are you gonna give us like your top 5 stories of your career, or is that gonna go into a book or something?
That's in my biography. You have to wait. You have to wait for the book rights to come out.
I don't know where my colleagues are, Tony.
Uh, let me check on Josh. I know Gene said he was coming back from Boston and might be a couple minutes late.
Mhm.
Josh said he'll be on in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, come back over here. Oh, yeah. I thought I screwed something up.
Tony, is this being streamed on cable?
Yes,
Okay.
it should be. I
Okay,
have
good.
it says custom live streaming is on.
All right, great. Hi, Gene.
How do you do that?
YouTube.
Kelly. Sure, Brent.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Gene. How are you? Just waiting for Josh.
Okay, great.
I see he's on now. He's all set, I think. Okay. When we get going, so I'm gonna seeing that we have a forum, open the December 20th, 2023 Board of Selectmen meeting. It's on 6:35. Doesn't look like a long meeting, but we have a few things we need to get through. First, on opening comment, I think I'd like to take an opportunity to acknowledge the passing of one of our residents who was very important to this town, who dedicated much of his professional and personal life to the town, Mike Walworth. It was a sudden passing, and he'll be missed by a lot. I know that I first met Mike over 30 years ago, and Mike was always someone that I would go to for advice and counsel as I was a town administrator, and even more recently as a member of the board. And for those of you who know Mike, Mike has been an active member of our community for decades. I first really got to know Mike when he really took the lead on the Valley Road School and stopping the wrecking ball from going down there literally by days. He was instrumental in pulling together support from around town and calling for a special meeting, which ended up resulting in stopping the wrecking ball and beginning negotiations into trying to make something out of it. And Mike was a big part of that. He was the founding, one of the co-founders of the Nahant Preservation Trust. He was president at one point of the Nahant Preservation Trust. And the community center probably wouldn't be there today if it wasn't for Mike. But Mike did a lot of other things in town too, including, I know that the Johnson School expansion in 2004. Mike was a member of the school committee at that point and was instrumental in moving that project forward. And again, if it wasn't for Mike's involvement, not quite sure we would have had that nice extension of the Johnson School. And Mike never gave up. I mean, he even to this day, he was on the Housing Production Committee, an active member. He was an active member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. But most of us will probably remember Mike as a member of town meeting. I don't think Mike ever missed a town meeting. He, for those of you who know him, he was very intelligent. He spoke very well. There were times when Mike would get up and speak, and he could change a vote pretty easily with this presentation. Well, he's just going to be missed. He'll be missed by the community. I'll miss him as a dear friend. So my condolences go out to his family and to all of his other friends. I know Josh or Jane, any comments?
Yeah, I'd first like to offer my personal condolences to the family. Great family. Also serve at length in town. And I didn't know Mike that well 6, 7, 8 years ago, other than the political side of it. But then when I got involved with him in some campaigning issues, I realized very quickly how much he knew, not only about the town, but state government, federal government, anything that had to do with the government. Mike was right on top of it. And he was just a very well-liked and personable guy. And to stay with what you said, Mark, you put that perfectly well. That's who he was. Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, Mark, very well said. Mike's a guy I personally looked up to a lot and really admired. I probably spent an hour on the phone with him, maybe 3 days before he passed away, talking about the housing production plan. He was involved in a lot of other things besides the town government. He was handling the race committee for the Dory Club all this past summer. Very capable. He was a captain. I think actively still the captain of one of the party boats, or whatever you call the boats that go out of Boston Harbor. Organized the tall ships coming to Nahant a few years back, which was a big effort. Just a great guy, and I'll miss him. And as I said, he was a guy that I really admired a lot. So again, condolences to his family. That's all.
Thanks, Josh. Tony, any comments?
Yeah, I you guys all pretty much covered it. I'll say that, Mike, as well as, Mike and his entire family has been committed to the community for a long time. His wife, Nancy, being part of a number of different committees. His daughter, Mariana, being our dispatcher at the Nahant Police Department. My heart goes out to them, and to the other friends and family members. And it's a big loss for our community. Like you said, I think he was impressively intelligent, I would say, in all my interactions with him. I was always kind of blown away by the perspective he had on different topics, and it was always enlightening speaking with him. So huge loss for us, and for the family and their friends. So my heart and prayers go out to them.
Hey, if I could just add one thing there, and thank you so much, Tony, that was outstanding. Mariana, I think a couple of nights ago, had put in a small, not an epitaph, but something which described exactly what her dad was all about, and it was a maritime poem, I think. If anybody out there has it, I'd love you to call in and read it. It was outstanding. It was just, it was him personified.
Okay, thanks, Gene. Good enough. So let's move on here then. There's some announcements to make. Winter parking ban is in effect starting tomorrow, the 21st, through March 20th of 2024, from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. every night, regardless of snow emergency. If you need a winter parking pass, please call or visit Nahant Police Station for an application. There's no delay this week on trash or recycling pickup. Will be on schedule during the week of Christmas and New Year's Eve. Residents should put their trash and recycling at the curb on the regular pickup day. Annual report photo contest. Those who are interested, submit a photo or drawing of your favorite place in town by February 2nd, 2024 to enter the contest for the 2023 annual report book. All ages are welcome. Residents can apply by filling out the application and submitting your entry to ktaylor@nahant.org. Contest rules and application can be found on the contest page at nahant.org. Community preservation applications are now being accepted. All applications are due by January 16th, 2024. Visit the community preservation page at nahant.org for an application and more information. We have a few events I'd like to make you aware of. The annual Christmas parade this Saturday, December 23rd. The parade begins at 6 p.m. in the Nahant Village Church and goes around the town. The annual Freezing for a Reason polar plunge will be held on Monday, January 1st, beginning at 11 a.m. at Short Beach. And that's it for events. Now, we've got another announcement here to make, and sort of sad but joyful in a way. Mike Waters, who's joining us tonight, is retiring. Sergeant Waters, who will retire at the end of this month. Just a little quick background on Mike. Prior to joining the Nahant Police Department, Mike Waters served in the U.S. Coast Guard. He was appointed as reserve officer in 1995. I think I made that appointment. And he was later appointed full-time in July of 1997. He was promoted to sergeant in 2010. During his time here as a full-time officer, he served as a fireman's instructor, firearms instructor, an IT support, field training officer, officer in charge of uniform crime reporting, and officer in charge of motor vehicle citation auditing, to name a few. Sergeant Waters has served the town for 20 years and will continue to serve as a reserve police officer after retiring from full-time status on December 29th, 2023. We'd like to thank Sergeant Waters for his dedicated service to the town and our residents, and we wish him the best of luck during his retirement. You know, Mike, you and I go back a long time, back into the 90s when you were first appointed in, and never once in my time involved with the town, either as town administrator or as a member of the Board of Selectmen, have I heard one negative thing about you. You've always been professional, always had the heart at the utmost in your heart, and I know your father would be proud of you making retirement age. We'll miss you. I'm glad that you're going to stay as a reserve officer. That'll be a great benefit. But thank you, and I wish you the best of luck in the future. Gene or Josh?
I'll just say, congratulations, Sergeant Waters, and thank you. And I'm happy to hear that you'll be continuing to help the town out as a reserve officer. So thanks for your service for all these years.
Thank you.
Likewise, Mike, just like to say thanks so much for the years of service to the town, but you've also added a lot in you've conveyed to the other police officers in town and what it means to be a police officer here. Great job. Look forward to seeing you out there off and on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mike, you have anything to say?
Yeah. Well, I got my wife Jennifer with me right now. She's my biggest supporter. The chief I have to actually, address after going to work. But it was an easy decision. I mean, it was several weeks before I could actually come up with a decision that I had to make. But it just seemed like the right time. I'm going to miss the department. I'm going to miss the men and women that I work with. I mean, it was like my other family there. Wish them nothing but the best. I mean, Chief Furlong, he's the best. At least I'm going to miss it. But like I said, I think the time was right. So I made the decision, and I had the support of my family. So that was that. So.
We'll miss you. Tony, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just thank you, Sergeant. Really appreciate your leadership and, really setting a great example, for what it means to be a Nahant police officer, for your entire career. Like Mark said, your dad would be, I'm sure, very proud. And I'm sure, I know, when I first came on, Chief Dwyer always spoke extremely highly of you, and so does Chief Furlong. So as Mark said, never a bad word ever said. You've definitely exemplified, what it means and to be a Nahant police officer and what we look for in police officers. So glad you're sticking around as a reserve officer, and I look forward to your book and reading up on some of the stories of your almost 30 years on the force. I'm sure there's some good ones there. So,
Oh yeah.
and thank you to your wife and thank you to Mrs. Waters for allowing us to have Mike for so many years.
Yeah, they put up with a lot.
Yeah, Mike, what was the best shift you worked?
My best shift?
No, what was your favorite shift?
There's a lot of them. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Come up with one.
There's so many.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I had a lot of good shifts. I mean, some of them were holidays. I mean, honestly, it's like I couldn't spend it with my family, so I spent it with my other family.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there was just so many shifts that were, I can't put one in front of the other.
Yeah, you must have worked them all at one point.
Oh yeah, I definitely worked them all. when I first started out, nights was great. I did nights for way too many years. I finally went to days, and I will say, days was where it's at. It's the whole normal life.
Yeah.
Good enough. All right, thanks again, Mike, and all the best in the future.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Okay, we'll move on. An update, Coast Guard housing update, Tony?
Yep. Dan, do you want to lead us off, or
Sure.
If
We have a
shared.
trial. Yep, we have a trial scheduled for January 3rd, and that is on one of the Goddard Street properties. We were supposed to go to trial on the other property on that road, actually, on the 13th, but the opposing counsel came down with COVID. So he was laid up for about a week or so. So the court bumped that until a date yet to be determined. We have a court event, not a trial, but a case management conference in the property on Castle Road tomorrow at 9, which is a kicking the can down the road toward hopefully a pretrial conference and then eventual trial date. But hopefully that property will be vacated within a month. That is what we're being told. Hopefully that'll come to fruition. So that's where we are with regard to the litigation, the 3 litigations, I should say.
as far as demolition progress goes, all 9 vacant homes have been demolished and removed. The foundations, when we started removing foundations, when we got down to foundations, the slabs, we discovered some underground HVAC piping that had asbestos cement in it, and so with that pipe has to be removed a certain way. That was an unknown material going into the project, so it is triggering a change order to our contract. I don't have a final price yet, and DEP was involved in approving the process by which the contractor removes all that asbestos pipe. So even though we knew we had asbestos in the property, this under slab pipe work was unknown. So it is going to trigger a change order, which will we have funds. That's why we added contingency in the borrowing. We're saving some money in the original contract as well, because the foundations don't need damp proofing, and it's going to offset some of these new costs. But when I have a final number, I'll make sure to report that. It does look like I drove by yesterday. It stopped in there. A few of the properties, all the cement has been removed already. So they're expecting first week or second week of January to be done with their the removal of all the cement and material on the property. I got a few questions after our last meeting related to the sale of the property. I think folks, I don't know, it seemed like people were confused as to what we were talking about that night. So just to recap, we're not going out to sale right now. We're still in the process of developing how that procedure is going to work. We have to follow Chapter 30B procurement law. We're working with KP Law to help us produce, the appropriate procurement documents related to that. And we have to follow, the motion that was passed at the 2021 town meeting. So there's a few different, elements in there that we have to be mindful of. But we're not quite ready to go out to sell the property quite yet. But I think our hope is to start early in the new year. That could be, in February and March. It's really kind of unknown right now, but that's, relatively speaking, that's how soon we want to try and get ready to do that, to start the process. And starting the process really means getting the appraisals and getting, the documents in front of the Board of Selectmen so we can put them out to the public. So that's the track or the schedule that we're hoping to follow. And Any questions from the board?
No, I think things are going smoothly. It's great to see that open space there. It'd be hard to sell them, but yeah, things seem to be going quite well. Thanks, Tony. Josh, Gene?
I guess I was just gonna say that, you know, it's too bad that the asbestos pipes were found and that will cost a bit more. But the big relief really is that all the 9 properties, there was no leaking from any of the underground oil tanks. That's, I think, what we were collectively all worried about, because that would have been really an unknown additional cost and potentially quite expensive. So to some degree, we dodged a bullet in that case. So happy about that.
No, I would just like to say that, like most projects in town, it's being done right and done quickly, and it shows that great detail goes into these projects that we put out in front. Good job, Tony.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tony. Move on to new business. We have some annual liquor licenses to approve. Josh, can you take these motions?
Sure. I move that the Nahant Board of Selectmen vote to approve the following liquor license renewal applications for 2024 to be approved by the ABCC. Nahant Country Club, Inc., doing business as Nahant Country Club, 280 Nahant Road, club license, all alcoholic beverages. Nahant Knights of Columbus Building Association, Inc., 17 Relay Yard, club license, all alcoholic beverages. R&B Management, LLC, 1 Willow Road, restaurant and license, all alcoholic beverages. Atlantic Functions, Inc., doing business as Ocean View, 0 Willow Road, general on-premise license, all alcoholic beverages. Seaside Variety Partners, doing business as Seaside Variety, 141 Nahant Road, package store license, all alcoholic beverages. Tides at Nahant, Inc., 2B Wilson Road, restaurant license, all alcoholic beverages. Victoria Hall Bayside, LLC, doing business as Victoria Hall Bayside, 1 Southwick Ave, restaurant license, all alcoholic beverages. Turnstone LLC, doing business as Turnstone Market, 157 Nahant Road, convenience store license, wines and malt. And further, that the release of said licenses are subject to the approval of all inspections and payment of all outstanding fees, fines, and payments to the town of Nahant.
Thank you, Josh. Do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on any of these? Tony?
Yeah, just quickly, Mark,
Go ahead.
where's the Coast Guard fall into that?
They're still going through the process at the ABCC, so they're not part of this renewal round.
Okay.
So they don't have their full license yet, is that right?
I don't believe so. I believe they're pretty close, but I think they got a couple like documents were held up. I'm not really sure what the delay is, but I know they're pretty close. And that's going to be a veteran's liquor license.
Okay, one other question. How often do we do inspections, and what does an inspection entail?
Well, we do them annually for this process. And then I believe they're all subject to random inspections throughout the year.
The health inspector does his inspection, and then plumbing, gas and electric, and building do their inspections. And finally, we make sure that all the payments of any outstanding fees or fines are up to date too. So
Thanks, Mike.
it's pretty good. Not like the old days. I was telling Tony, we used to have to go visit these sites. Back in the
Ian?
Charlie Kelly days. But thankfully, we don't have to do that anymore. Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor?
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Antrim,
Mark Cullen and I. Josh, we have some entertainment licenses here.
yes, this is my favorite one. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the following entertainment licenses for 2024 for the following establishments. Nahant Knights of Columbus, 17 Relay Road, 5 TVs, 5 musicians, DJ and pool table, jukebox. Nahant Country Club, 280 Nahant Road, TV, live music, DJ. Atlantic Functions Inc., doing business as Ocean View, 0 Willow Road, live music, DJ. R&B Management LLC, 1 Willow Road, live music, DJ, jukebox, karaoke. Tides at Nahant, 2B Wilson Road, 10 TVs, 2 amusement devices, live music, karaoke. Victoria Hall Bayside LLC, doing business as Victoria Hall Bayside, 1 Southwick Ave, jukebox, 7-piece orchestra, non-amplified. And further, that the release of said licenses are subject to the approval of the inspections and payment of all outstanding fees, fines, and payments to the town of Nahant.
Okay, thanks, Josh. Do I have a second on this motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. I think there's we missed a few patrons for some of these establishments that we could include under entertainment, but we won't do that now.
Those are unlicensable.
maybe next year we'll include their names.
Okay.
While we're on it, once again, what are the hours for entertainment? Do they
Each
vary by? Go ahead.
Yeah, each one's a little bit different. I can get that for you, Gene.
Yeah, okay. And I was just, that was my question. Do they vary with each vendor?
Yeah, some of them, I mean, most of them are about the same. Some of them are a little bit different, but none of them are asking for any change compared to what they had last year.
Okay, you don't have to get that back to me.
All right.
Thanks, Tony. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor?
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Antrim,
Mark Cullen and I. We get a lot of motions here, Josh.
Yeah,
So,
okay, one more here. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve common victular license as stands alone or in connection with a liquor license for the year 2024 for the following establishments. Atlantic Functions Inc., doing business as Ocean View, 0 Willow Road. Tides at Nahant, 2B Wilson Road. Nahant Country Club, 280 Nahant Road. R&B Management LLC, 1 Willow Road. Nahant Knights of Columbus Building Association, doing business as Nahant Knights of Columbus, 17 Relay Road. Victoria Hall Bayside LLC, doing business as Victoria Hall Bayside, 1 Southwick Avenue. Seaside Pizza, 149 Nahant Road. Nahant Preservation Trust, NLSS, 96 Nahant Road. And further, that the release of said licenses are subject to the approval of all inspections and payments of all outstanding fees, fines, and payments to the town of Nahant.
a second, please.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
Now, yeah, just one quick one. What's the difference between an entertainment liquor and common victualler?
That's food.
Common Vic is someone who's licensed to sell food or alcohol. The liquor license obviously covers the different types of distribution that you do, and then entertainment is, for the different types of entertainment that you offer.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen and I.
Okay, we have used car dealership licenses. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the used car dealer license class 2 for calendar year 2024 for George Masturis, doing business as Seaside Auto, Francis Burrill, doing business as Nahant Garage, and further that the release of said licenses are subject to the approval of all inspections and payment of all outstanding fees, fines, and payments to the town of Nahant.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing, hearing none, all in favor?
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Antrimai.
Mark Cullen and I. We have a senior and veterans work-off abatement program motion, Josh.
Yep, I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to accept the changes to the town of Nahant Senior and Veterans Work-Off Abatement Program as presented by the town administrator.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion on the motion. Tony, I see Sheila is on. Does she want to say anything?
Sheila, you want to unmute? What's
Yep.
before you is a
Unmute.
track. Oh, there you go. There you go,
Yep,
Sheila.
sorry about that. Yes, thank you, Tony. So hello, good evening all. I just wanted to bring you up to date. Tony, myself, the COA director, Mary Miner, and the veterans officer, John Lazar. We are the committee that has proposed the changes to your senior and veteran tax work-off program. This program started back in fiscal year 2002, where the first participants were only 2 for about 10 years. We have now grown to 12, and that includes 10 seniors and 2 veterans. In 2019 was the last time you did update the program, but in November of this past year, just a month ago, our legislators made some changes. And one thing that happened was the senior tax work-off abatement program was increased to a $2,000 abatement. But unfortunately, a mistake was made and they forgot to include the veterans. But I think they're working on making that change, and it may be retroactive, which may mean we have to come back just to update that too in the near future. But I think Tony has given you the copy, and basically the changes made have to deal with COVID-19, the number of hours for the seniors and the number of hours for the veterans, and just a better description within the program requirements for the changes with the veterans versus the seniors. And then the compensation is the only minor changes within the program. I don't know if you have any other questions. So right now we have a nice hefty 12 participants
So thanks,
that have
Sheila.
applied and are qualified.
So thanks for putting this together, Sheila, and thanks to Mary and to John also for helping out. Appreciate it. Any further discussion on this motion?
I guess I'll just mention that it looks like for the seniors that the number of hours has increased from 105 to 133, right? And
Yes.
and for a total of a $2,000 potential tax credit, and for the veterans, it's a $1,500 potential tax credit for about 100 hours of work.
And
So those are
Josh?
Yeah.
Yep, and Josh, that is because it's all based upon the minimum state wage. And January 2022 was $15. It held over to this year. January 1st, 2023 is 15, and now it's going again forward to staying $15.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you.
So just wanted to mention that for
Right.
as an educational point of view for anybody listening to what
Thank you.
might be available and at what rate you're compensated. So
Yeah.
that's all. That's all my
Yeah.
discussion.
Thank you, Josh. Sheila, for any seniors or veterans watching, what sort of work are we offering for this abatement program? Can you give us some give us some examples.
Sure, I have, in the Council on Aging, there are, seniors who are helping with the setup of the kitchen, help set up in the dining room, taking reservations for events, taking reservations for lunch, coordinating the bus schedule if anyone needs a pickup. So, they're only work, 100, hours, so they're kind of constantly having to train and get new people in. So there's a rotating crew of them, and some stay on and volunteer also. The library has a participant. The school has a participant. And my office, the assessor's office, has 3 participants, and they are doing boat exercise, the best part of my job. They are helping with the database with the boat exercise. And so I have someone with computer skills, so that's good. And the other is just reading records and documenting and just checking everything off by hand. So that also works well. And then I think the Board of Health has used a senior, and the Veterans Officer has used someone to help build the Veterans website. And so we're moving forward this year. We're a little behind because this vote that changed in like November the 2nd on the veterans and the seniors work off abatement. And I was behind trying to get the tax rate set. And so we're kind of just in a kickoff starting point, as opposed to some who have been there for years and years and just continue to work.
Great, thank you, Sheila. Perhaps we could pull together a list of opportunities that seniors or veterans could consider for next year,
Yep.
and we could post them on our website.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a good idea.
And Tony, we talked about that already too. So thank you.
Okay.
Couple more tidbits of info. Senior means 60 years old or older. And you must meet an income requirement of some sort. I don't know what that is, but and then for the veterans, there's no age requirement and no income requirement. Are those?
Yes,
correct?
that's true. That's true. Yes. You have to be eligible for the Community Preservation Act surcharge tax abatement for the seniors. And that just depends. It changes every year.
Great, that sounds great. In addition to posting what we know could be some of the opportunities, maybe we could also entertain suggestions from seniors or veterans about some other program or something they would like to start and that could qualify for this abatement program. Rather than just coming from us, there could be some good ideas out there.
So would you like the committee to put that forward and then bring it to you all too, just to have a chance to look it over?
I mean, I think that whatever the committee posts in terms of opportunities is fine with me. I'm just looking at, someone might have an idea out there about, a program that they would like to develop on their own and work with either the school or something along
library,
library or recreation or something along those lines that we haven't thought about. So if someone has their own proposal, maybe your committee could take a look at it.
And sometimes that's what
good...
happened. Sometimes that's what happens organically too. Folks will come in and say, I think I'm eligible. So first we double check that they are, and then, we ask them, what would they be interested in helping the town out? They give us some different categories, what their skill set is, what their interests are. And then we'll work with the different department heads to see if they have some work available that kind of matches. Sometimes it goes that way. And the other thing that is part of this change that we're memorializing in this document is the transferability of hours. So a, a veteran who owns property in the town of Nahant, who's eligible for this abatement on their taxes, that veteran doesn't necessarily have to be the one who does the work. Someone else can do the work and donate those hours towards, that eligible abatement, that eligible resident for the abatement. So we're kind of memorializing that with some of these changes too. Some folks work more than enough hours, and some folks can't work enough. So we allow them to share, and donate the extra hours to someone who maybe wasn't able to finish their full 100. So that's a nice thing that kind of helps promote the program too.
Great, sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. Any other discussions on this, Gene or Josh?
No, I mean, I guess I would just add that, it's a good deal for the seniors and veterans, and it's a good deal for the town. Minimum wage help. So, yeah, win-win.
Okay, great. Seeing that there's no further discussion, roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen and I. Lobster trap storage lease.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve a lobster trap storage lease to Steve Scaglione for the term of 1 year, beginning September 1st, 2023 to August 31st, 2024. And that the above leasee mentioned has signed their lease agreement and has paid the required storage fee.
Seconded.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. Seeing, hearing none, all in favor?
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen and I. Okay, Josh, anything on East Point?
Nothing new really. We're just eagerly awaiting the January 24th, 2024 hearing.
Okay, great. All right, on to the town administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our cleaning and camera work of our infiltration and our II sewer main project is completed. So happy with the progress there. Our contractor's next step is in the first week or second week of January, they're going to be making necessary spot repairs where they discovered those needs in our system. And then at the last couple weeks of January, they'll be doing the sewer lining portion of the project. So very happy with the progress that we're making there. Definitely discovered some, things in our system that, need some rethinking or repairs. Lines that haven't been cleaned in a while, lines that, we might need to add a manhole, in order to access it for the lining. In some places we see other utilities crossing through our sewer line, so we have to make the proper repair there as well. But these sewer lines, probably haven't been cleaned in quite some time, so definitely very happy with the progress and look forward to it being completed. We have our lowlands drainage project is in the engineering phase. I've met with our engineer on that, and as well the camera work and cleaning work is completed on that. We're now trying to price out a project that we can put out for procurement and tie it in with our water main jobs on Fox Hill and Emerald Road. We had a kind of a scary storm that kind of came out of nowhere earlier this week, and our emergency management team, along with our DPW, police and fire, jumped, and our harbor master as well, jumped right into action. They do such a good job. It's like they know exactly, they have a protocol. You guys have been in a number of those meetings, so more so to provide some comfort to our residents. Nahant has such a skilled group of people who know exactly, what questions to ask, what, they can predict what type of pretty good at predicting at, where our vulnerable locations are going to be, where we need to deploy our assets, and they communicate with each other very efficiently and communicate up to me. And then we're able to work on, getting out a public message, letting people know, to stay off the roads, or, things of that nature. So we ended up, the storm died off. It came in quick. It's died off quick, but it was intense for a moment there. So just wanted to commend our staff on their response to that too.
Great. Yeah, they did a great job. Okay, great. Thanks, Tony. Okay, citizens forum.
All right, so Citizens Forum, if you have anything you want to share, please start by stating your name and your address. We will, over the last couple of weeks, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to just make a quick statement. Over the last couple of weeks, our Citizens Forum has kind of evolved into more of a discussion and a back and forth. And, I want to be able to, I think we all have the goal of being able to answer questions as best as we can, as quickly as we can. When it turns more into like an ongoing discussion, we start flirting with that open meeting law violations, where these topics that come up in Citizens Forum aren't posted on the agenda, and so the rest of the community isn't aware that those topics are being discussed. So we will continue to try to answer questions as best we can. If we have to take your question in and review it and then post it on a future agenda and bring it up in discussion at the next meeting, we'll do that. But I just wanted to, let folks know we're going to try to be a little more cautious about, not expanding into those danger areas related to the open meeting law.
Good point, Tony. I agree.
So Tom, I saw your hand was up first. Please, again, please unmute yourself and state your name and address.
Yeah, Tom Hambleton, 17 Kenny Avenue. I sent a memo in to the selectmen and you, Tony, and a map that I didn't know if you had or not. And I just wondered if you'd had time to discuss it or review it, or if you had any questions, or I thought I made a little typo, but I'm hoping that once you review it, you'll consider making some changes to those 3 items. And it was basically, counting the street as part of the lot. I still think you were supposed to retain 8 feet along Castle Road. And I think that's what was recommended. It makes a lot of sense. I think there should be a sidewalk easement on Gardner. And I think you should, as Mark said, it looks gorgeous down there without the houses. But I think it would look even better and more aesthetic if the topography was adjusted along Castle Road. So I think I
yep.
said, okay. So that's basically it.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, we received it. Dan and I started reviewing it. We owe you a response on that, but there are definitely some comments in your email that, we're looking to consider. Some, we'll get back to you on, and, maybe you and Dan can talk through it if it's easier. We can set up a time to sit down and go through it all.
Okay. I think because of the implications of, either changing the drawing or considering doing the topography, the sooner the better.
Okay.
So unfortunately, blowout work these days, so I can make probably any time.
Okay,
All right. Thanks so much.
thank you. Brendan,
Brennan Baronic Olmsted, 2 Summer Street. I had 2 questions. One about the Coast Guard housing and the asbestos that was found. Is it assumed that all 12 properties have these asbestos pipes underneath?
yes.
Okay, and so that I guess whatever cost estimates you get, you're going to be able to then have a full magnitude as to what it may cost when all 12 are addressed.
We'll definitely include it in if we have to procure, unless we can do it under a change order under the current contract, and I have to go back out to procure demolition and removal for the last 3 units, I'll be able to include the information that we have in the scope of work. We have a general idea of what it would cost, but that's also, there's a scaling, effect there on 3 houses versus 9. So we won't know it to the absolute number, but yeah, now we know about it. And actually, I think knowing about it ahead of time, you could potentially now remove it in a more efficient way, which would save you on some labor hours. So.
Okay. And my second question, I recently learned that I guess over at the wharf, we had some cameras there that Homeland Security provided, but I guess they're non-operational. I had a lobsterman contact me because they had some lobsters stolen, and they were asking if my harbor cam had any indication as to when it happened. So I was wondering, is like the town looking to fund cameras at the wharf? Seeing how we have a camera physically there.
Yes, so the state police is taking over the contract from Homeland Security and providing us access to the use of those cameras. And they were out on site a couple weeks ago making repairs. I don't know if they're back online yet, but they should be soon.
Okay.
I thought maybe Rob Thibault told us last time that they were back in operation. See Rob there. But I thought that's what he said last time we had a meeting.
Hi, Rob Thibault. No, the cameras are not in operation that I am aware of. At that time, when we spoke, they had literally shown up that day and were replacing 4 of the cameras, which they did. But I have not had any feedback from them yet as far as when these will be coming back online.
Okay.
Thanks, Rob.
Hey, Tony, just to expand on Brendan's question, all 9 houses that have been demolished had that asbestos pipe, right? And all those asbestos pipes are physically removed from the properties, correct? Yeah, so they're already gone.
I don't, when I drove by yesterday, I don't know if they're all gone yet.
Okay.
I thought the one on Goddard Drive, they were still the first one that where they discovered the pipe. I thought they were still working on that one.
Okay.
But I saw some foundations completely removed as well.
I guess I was assuming that the asbestos pipe came out with the slab, but not with the footing, right? Looks like there's still some footings left, but no slabs left, if I remember correctly.
The process was, because it's kind of a cookie cutter found it, every one of them are about the same. Once they pulled the slab up on the first property, they were able to know where the cement pipe was laid under the slab for all properties. So for the rest of them, what they would do is they cut basically like a 4-foot section or a 3-foot section where the pipe was, and they would remove the slab from above the pipe and then carefully remove the asbestos pipe and then remove the remaining amount of slab, and then come back and do the footings. So as you drive by there, you'll see, some of the properties are at different stages in the process.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Is my video working yet? Let's see here. No, hang
Yeah.
on. There we go. Yeah, two short questions. First,
Vi,
Would you mind,
can
sorry,
you
but would
just-
you mind
Oh,
stating your
Vipatic.
name and address?
Vipatek, 172 Willow Road. Two short questions. I think it's really great that the street scrubber goes by every Friday. But if it could go after the garbage trucks go around, it would pick up all the trash that blows around. So they're out there before the garbage trucks ever get to the houses. Be really great if they could come a little later. Second item is I sent the Selectmen and Tony excuse me, a link about burning Christmas trees that are discarded in January versus composting. And SWIM is hoping that maybe you would consider composting in the future as opposed to burning. That's it.
I saw your email. I haven't had time yet to click on the Sierra Club link, but I'll definitely do that.
Likewise.
Yeah, I will too. We'll take it under consideration by, this is one of the subjects that, Tony brought up earlier that, we don't want to go down the road too much in terms of a discussion because it wasn't on the agenda.
Yep.
There were certainly people who enjoyed the tree burning ceremony, and there were people who may want to see some alternative to that as members of SWIM. So perhaps we can address it later, but I did receive your letter and we'll take it under consideration.
Great, thank you very much.
Anyone
Anything-
else?
Anything in the chat, Tony?
No.
Okay. Very good. So before we adjourn, I want to wish everyone happy holidays and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thank you, Tony, to your staff and all of town employees for all of the hard work they've done during this last year. The town looks great, and we're in good hands under your leadership. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Hope to see everyone this Saturday at the parade.
You will. Thank you. Thanks
You're welcome.
all.
Thank you. I move that the Board of Selectmen meeting be adjourned.
Seconded.
Seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Gene Canty. Aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye. Good night, everybody.
Aye.
Good night.